Hello, audience. First of all, we'd like to thank you for joining us the last episode last week. It was really a nice session to have a guest from University of Sheffield from School of Architecture. So, if any of you are interested to know about architecture and PhD in architecture, please feel free to explore our last week video. Today, we are really glad to invite one of an academic from Sheffield Hallam University Business School. So let me introduce our guest academic today, Dr. Imtiaz Mostafiz is the senior lecturer from Sheffield Hallam University, and he is looking after, I think, business strategic, international business, and entrepreneurship. So, hello, Dr. Imtiaz Mostafiz. Welcome to our live session today.
Hi, glad to be here.
Perfect. Thank you so much for making your time and trying to join us today. Basically, we know how difficult it is for a student to identify the right paperwork and then identify or approach to the faculty to secure a PhD offer. So today we try to understand and try to discuss how a student can, kind of try to approach the right supervisor. So before we start with, would you mind to tell a bit about why a student should take a PhD, especially for international business?
All right. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. So, why a PhD, right? Now, nowadays in our society, we have a kind of culture. I'm particularly talking about business school. So we have a culture. A student after higher secondary school, after intermediate or A level, excuse me, normally they think like they have to go for kind of business studies, undergraduate, let's say BBA, and then most of the countries, they ask for, or the employer asks for, like, you might go for a MSc or MBA. Now, why a student should consider a PhD? Now, first of all students, they don't need to go for PhD. I mean, it's not a degree. It is more about that. It is more about, it's a training process. I would like to narrate it this way. A PhD is a training process, a professor in making. Eventually, let's say in 10 years time, 15 years time, or 20 years time, that person will become a professor, and the training starts here. So if a student, if someone want to be a researcher, want to be a consultant, want to be a academic in long run, and try to contribute to the society, try to contribute to the body of knowledge, try to contribute to the academia, yes, PhD, yes, yeah, it's a degree for those of the people, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Particularly for international business, we when we explored, when we try to understand the market demand for international business is really, uh, I mean, there is already a value for that, but we really find a small number of PhD, particularly for this industry. So we try to help the student understand why a particularly PhD for international business can help their career.
Well, we need to understand what is a PhD in international business, or do we have PhD in international business or not? Now, most of the university, they will offer you PhD in management or PhD in marketing. That is also a subsection of like a broader management area, I'll say. So international business, it can also include a strategic management area. It can also include international marketing, B2B marketing, those kind of industrial marketing area. It can also include international entrepreneurship area. So IB itself, it's a very niche area, because if someone want to do a PhD in specifically in international business, I think that's a very difficult thing. You need to combine two or more areas here, and then it is not just IB. It will be like management, IB, strategic management. As I said, international entrepreneurship also kick in. So yeah, it is not specifically that. Well, the difficult part is most of the students nowadays, when I receive application, their proposal, the research proposal they're sending, I'll say, well, there are some good research proposal definitely, but then the quantity of kind of not, well, I don't want to use the word bad, but I'll say it's not adequate. Yeah, it's not adequate. It's not properly written. So that's a kind of I'll say a kind of tough bit when like normally students, yeah, they want to like consider a PhD in IB. Yes, the proposal, it's not adequate. Well,
Right. So if you'd like to, invite any students, or how you'd like students to approach you, what actually you're looking for, what they should have.
all right. All right. So, yeah, students, first of all, I mean, if you want to do a PhD, you should know what's the current body of knowledge. So, what is missing? I mean, that's a research gap. So, now where to look at? If you go to journal ranking, let's say ABDC ranking, or in UK, we do have kind of prominence of CAPS ranking. So, that is Chartered Association of Business School ranking, the journal ranking. Now, I will stress, please go to those ranking and then look for top journals, because all, I mean, almost every top journals, they have kind of call for paper, and now those call for paper, those are like the current topic, the contemporary topic. So if you can pick something from those call for paper and then those area, and based on those area, if you develop your research proposal and then approach the supervisor, and make sure that you are approaching a supervisor, whether that particular supervisor got any kind of interest on that particular area or not. So that is also really, really critical. So those are the things that are needed. First of all, how to find a contemporary research area, where to look at? Please go to those top journal, go for their call for paper, and try to develop a research proposal focusing on those call for paper. Second, research, do a critical review of the supervisor's profile. I mean, check whether the supervisor kind of published the similar, I mean, definitely you are not going to find exact kind of area, but at least similar kind of related area. Let's say if I put myself in an example, if you want to focus on, let's say, digitalization and how international entrepreneurship works in a digital economy, yes, this kind of area, like I never published any paper on digitalization or on international entrepreneurship, but if you look at my paper, I do have paper on technological innovation, I do have paper on international entrepreneurship, like at least I have publication on related areas. Yes, you can still approach me. So you need to be critical enough to evaluate the supervisor's profile as well, and then approach them in a proper manner, highlighting what's the research or what is your proposal all about, and what actually you want to achieve in your PhD. Yeah.
Right, right, excellent. So if any student, if they start their PhD today, how long basically it takes to finish, including the writing up and submission?
You mean the preparation time, the prep time?
The kind of the the PhD time. I mean the duration, overall duration.
Oh, the overall duration, basically it's like in between 3 to 4 years time if full time. Sometimes it can take like up to 5 years. Yeah,
Right.
depending on the project, depending on many things, right? I mean, we
Right.
cannot just predict the future, what will happen. Anything unfortunate can happen as well. But on an average, I'll say, if everything goes well, it's like a 3.5 to 4 year, 4 year, or let's say 4.5, something like that.
Right, right, excellent. So, if a student, if they have done their masters and now they're considering themselves to go for a PhD, particularly for business school, what are the steps you would recommend them to follow?
Well, before steps, I would like to stress on patience. You have
Right,
to have serious, amount of patience before you pursue PhD. Trust me, PhD is, as I said earlier, PhD is not just an academic degree. It should come from your heart. So, I mean, if you are not motivated enough, you will struggle. So that's the reality. It should come from your heart. You have to have a lot of patience. And then the second thing is, if you want to do PhD after MSc, trust me, you need at least a year time of preparation. The prep time, those are the time are like really, really critical. That particular time, you will develop yourself. You will go for IELTS. You have to secure the minimum score. You need to go and find scholarship, the GTA opportunities. Those are the things that needed. Those you are going to do like in those 1 year prep time. At the same time, you will work on your proposal. There's nothing wrong if you approach multiple supervisor about multiple supervisor with the same proposal. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing harm in that, in terms of trying. Because at the end of the day, if you don't commit yourself to work with that particular supervisor, as long as you are not committing, you are perfectly fine. You're just approaching a supervisor. So once your proposal is ready, once your IELTS score is ready, because last time what happened was one of the students, he applied, the proposal was good, but then unfortunately we had to reject that particular application because the student failed to satisfy the minimum IELTS requirement. So those are the things are needed. So please go to the university website, check the eligibility criteria. Some university will ask for GRE or GMAT score. So if the scores are mentioned there, please prepare yourself. So you need at least a year preparation before you pursue a PhD. It's not going to happen overnight. Yeah, it's not realistic.
Right, right. So, for example, there are a lot of students. They think uh, we should have a proposal ready before we approach to a supervisor or academics. At the same time, few students they may have have something intention to talk to the supervisor first and then work with the ready project that the supervisor is already working on. So would you mind to help to understand how that process works, basically which one is
First
preferable?
of all, yeah, thank you so much. Yes. First of all, there is nothing called like ready project. Well, normally, university or supervisor, they normally give you a little bit of idea, maybe a synopsis. Yeah. But again, based on that particular synopsis, you have to develop the research proposal. So there is nothing called like ready project. Normally the university, they will publish, normally every year they publish like a specific topic, let's say only few lines on a given topic, not more than 100 word. But the proposal, it should be like around 2 to 3 page or 4 to 5 page, something like that, in between 1500 word to 2000 word. So first of all, we need to understand there is nothing called like ready project. These are just a synopsis, just an area, just an indication, like in that particular area you can develop a research proposal and then approach. So even if it is a project like by the university or by a specific supervisor and they have secured funding, again the student, they need to develop the research proposal on that particular area and approach. So if you don't have nothing, if you have nothing in your hand, there is no point of like wasting your time, wasting your supervisor's time. So first, yes, prepare something and then only approach the supervisor. You just simply cannot knock a supervisor with an empty hand. No, that's
Right,
not
right.
appropriate. Yeah.
Excellent. So in terms of proposal, if any students would like to approach you, I mean, which stage you recommend them to prepare first? Like, let's make, for example, they may have just a topic in their hand, though you have covered a few minutes ago, but just trying to clarify over here. Like, you would prefer your student to have a draft proposal or something at least written in their hand and then approach you, or how you
Course.
gonna,
Yeah,
how you
of
gonna?
course, of course. I mean, of course, because you see, we just simply cannot judge a student based on their academic merit. So we need to understand whether that particular person can finish the PhD or not, and how we can determine just one of the ways like to evaluate the research proposal. If the research proposal is solid enough, and try and I would like to send one message to the student as well, like, don't bluff the supervisor. Trust me, the area you are working, and then when you are writing a proposal, if you are like claiming there is no research on that particular area, and you if you are like approaching a kind of supervisor like me, we don't need a minute, maybe less than that. Within 20 or 30 seconds, we can find out whether there are research on that particular area or not. So that kind of claim is a really, really serious claim. So don't bluff your supervisor. Be honest, be transparent and fair. As a supervisor point of view, we understand that student, they got their limitation, and they are at their very first stage of preparing a proposal, or maybe very first stage like entering a PhD program. Absolutely fine. So I will request student to not to like plagiarize, not to copy and paste. These are like a serious academic misconduct. So please don't do this kind of thing. Be fair, be transparent, be honest about your proposal. Now, the second thing is, yes, you need to have something in your hand before you approach to a supervisor, because you just simply cannot expect your supervisor to like enter to your mind, enter to your brain, and then realize, okay, what are the thinking, and somehow connect your you just simply cannot expect your supervisor to connect to you and think about those and realize what you are thinking. So that's not going to happen. That is not realistic. Yeah. So at least you need to give something to the potential supervisor and ask for their feedback. Yes, if you think your proposal is comprehensive enough, you can always ask for feedback. And I think most of the supervisor, they are humble, they are like participative, so definitely they are going to give feedback on the
Right,
proposal. Yeah.
right. So now I think this question is very important to students as well, and to you as well. Like, definitely you are accepting students, right?
Yeah.
So how many what is the number you're looking for currently?
So we do have capacity, and likewise, I also got some kind of capacity. So I just simply cannot say. Well, at the end of the day, again, it is not about quantity; it is more about quality. So if,
Right,
let's say, a quality student, a very good proposal, contemporary, very comprehensive, and I can purely see a contribution to the body of knowledge, I don't mind taking those students. I'm fine. I'm receiving application on management, industrial marketing, entrepreneurship. So those are my area. So, but again, as I mentioned, like, go for your IELTS or TOEFL, check the university website, and if you satisfy the requirements, the basic requirements by the university, if you already have those things in your hand, yes, yeah, you may proceed approaching supervisor. But before doing this kind of prep, there is like no point now, like wasting your time or wasting your supervisor time. Yeah.
right. So definitely you have been receiving a number of emails, or kind of applications around the world for a placement, or for to secure an offer. What are the common problems you can see within those applicants? What mistake they're doing?
So, well, first of all, I will not use the word mistake. Rather, I will use the word silliness. A lot of students, they are silly in terms of like they are really prioritizing scholarship rather than the quality of the research proposal. Trust me, I know a lot of people, including myself. I secure a PhD position first, and then I applied for a scholarship. Now, that is the point. You don't need to go for a scholarship at the very beginning without having a proposal at hand, without having the prep and other eligibility criteria. The university will straightway will tell you that yes, we don't have funding in that in area, and I mean, thank you so much for your interest. That's all. So that's a kind of silly thing to do. So please don't fall into that particular trap. First of all, please prepare your profile, please prepare the proposal, approach the supervisor. Once everything is done, that's why I mentioned at the earlier, there is no harm trying to multiple university, talk with multiple supervisor at different universities. There is nothing wrong in that, because at the end of the day, you will only commit once you sign the offer letter. So before you sign the offer letter, you are not in any kind of commitment to continue the research with that particular supervisor. So thing is, don't run for scholarship first, run for your excellence, now run for your the preparation time, and prepare a good comprehensive proposal, a contemporary proposal. And then once the offer is like already at in your hand, yes, you can negotiate the scholarship and everything. Yeah.
Thank you so much for clarifying those bits, because I believe most of the students doing this kind of small, as you mentioned,
Yeah,
silly
yeah, they are
mistakes.
irritating. They're irritating the
Right.
admission team. They're
Yeah.
irritating the supervisor. I mean,
Yeah.
people, they should not do it. Yes, I completely understand. Scholarship is critical, really, really important for those PhD candidates. But again, if you can prove your quality, definitely the scholarship will come to you. So you
Exactly.
have to have patience for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next question was related to funding. How about the university funding? Though you have mentioned a bit, but if you receive a quality applicant and if they're ready to join, what are the opportunities or options they might have to get some funding from university?
Well, I will mention, if a student want to do a PhD in UK, so I would like to stress, you can go and visit jobs.ac.uk. That particular website normally publish a lot of PhD opportunities, funded PhD opportunities, and at the same time you can go to findaphd.com. Yes, those websites are also really really useful in order to check the advert on PhD opportunities. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, yes, sometime, like for example, if I put myself in last year, I secured a GTA position, so I had funding, but then it was unfortunate because I haven't received any quality application. So yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. It's a shame. But then yes, student can also look for GTA positions, so those are also good. The full form is like graduate teaching assistant. So those are, I will say, very attractive scholarships. Yes, so yes, a student can go to those website and can and if they think they are they can like meet the eligibility criteria, yeah, why not? Definitely they can try those
Thank you
opportunities.
so much. I mean, do you think is there any particular intake for PhD, or they can start anytime?
Most of the universities, like a rolling basis, they take students on a rolling basis. So I know for international student there are visa requirement, there are other requirements as well, and thing is, it is mostly like a kind of rolling basis. So like at my university is like 4 times in a year. So yeah, something like that. And other university like in Canada or US, I think they got a different kind of system. So but as far as I'm concerned, it's a kind of rolling basis. So yeah, it's fine.
They can
Like
approach
it
anytime.
can take like a 6 month, 8 month, or maybe a year from proposal to start time. So sometimes it can take a year. Yeah.
Right. Last but not the least, as you are an academic, from business background, whom you would recommend to take a PhD rather than, everyone think, okay, I should go for a PhD, and maybe they're thinking what are the areas they should go after doing their PhD. So, as a business academic, what would be your recommendation?
Well, at the beginning, I told you, right? Everyone, they should not go for a PhD. Only those people who are really passionate about like contributing to the body of knowledge, or want to become a consultant after a certain time, want to become an academic. Yes, those are the people they can consider doing a PhD. Otherwise, I mean, if you want to work in a corporate field, you really don't need a PhD. You can consider DBA instead of a PhD if you're really passionate about like, yes, I want to earn a doctorate. So that is also fine. I mean, you can go for a DBA instead of PhD. PhD is like a doctor of philosophy, which is more towards like a scholarship, like contribution, like enhancement of the knowledge. So those are the things. So you need to understand there is a fine line between DBA and PhD. So if you want, if you are a corporate person, yes, PhD is not for you. It is more about like DBA. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Mustafiz. Thank you for making your time and joining us this session. I believe the student and the audience who are particularly looking into this video, they will find it beneficial. It is really challenging to reach out to the right supervisor. In my career, I have seen over the last 13 years, students they're applying to 50 to 70 universities sometimes, but they're not getting any response. They're getting rejected. Most of the time, we notice either there is a shortage of supervision or their kind of paper is not sufficient strong enough to get a placement. So I believe this session our audience will find it beneficial, and if they can hit or they can reach out to a potential supervisor and they can secure their offer, I think that's the best aim for us. Just to clarify one more thing to our audience, that we never guaranteed any offer from this session. It's just an informative session, just to let you know about the opportunities and what are the areas the students are really doing mistakes, and what are the areas they need to consider before they approach a supervisor, so they can secure an opportunity at the lowest time. Opportunities are there. It's just need to be yourself. What are the area to understand fast, and then approach the right way to the right people, and then the option is there. So you need to have that passion at as Dr. Mustafiz mentioned, that you should have passion first to start your PhD. You need to understand why you are doing your PhD. It's not like if you're starting today and after a year you want to leave the PhD because of your frustration, tiredness, or any other additional work. So you need to have that passions. You need to have that excitement. At least next 2 3 years, you need to ensure you can carry on with that particular project. So at least you have a doctorate degree. End of the session. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you so much, Dr. Mustafiz. It's nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. So, dear
Yeah, thank
audience.
you. Thank you so much, yeah, for having me here. And if anyone want to like reach out to me, you can write me an email at i.mustafiz at shu.ac.uk. If anyone want to discuss any future frontiers, so it's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to collaborate. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Mustafiz. So, dear audience, please feel free to join us next week. We are trying to invite another academic on the next Sunday at the same time. You are welcome to visit us at the same day as well. I hope those sessions you will find it beneficial. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.